Let's go to Liz in Charlotte, North Carolina. What's up, Liz? How are we?
Hey, Dr. John. I'm blessed to be stressed. How are you?
You're blessed to be stressed. That is maybe one of the worst, best rhymes of ever. You should be a rapper. Rat-a-tat-tat. So what's up?
So my husband of 3.5 years.
Wait, time out. I just got that. I'm blessed to be stressed. That means you have like a job and you've got kids and stuff, so things are good. Okay, I got it. I'm blessed to be stressed. I like it. Do you have that on a pillow somewhere in your house?
So I have it on my computer, printed off of a label maker.
Of course you do.
One
That's
of the teachers,
good. Awesome.
One of the teachers I had in high school had it on her computer, and it's just been something that always resonated with me. So
I love it. I think you should get it tattooed on your wrist. I think that's really cool. Kids get tattoos these days. All right, so now we're back. So what's up? Your husband and you, and then what?
So my husband of 3.5 years brought to my attention recently that I am not the beneficiary on his life insurance policy.
What?
I don't think that he's going to die tomorrow.
He might if he doesn't put you as the beneficiary. Who did he? Please, God, tell me he put like an old girlfriend. Please. Why?
Our 2-year-old daughter is the sole on the policy.
Why?
I don't know. That's one of the reasons why I'm calling, I guess, to try and figure out and have a discussion with him.
So when he told you this, what did you say?
I kind of thought he was joking. And then he went on to be like, I'm putting it in. If anything happens to me, it'll go on an escrow account. She won't be able to touch it till she's 18. And then it kind of just got my brain circling and thinking like, again, no, I don't think you're going to die tomorrow, but
hey,
we have a house.
He might. Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah.
Two big red flags for me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you the biggest red flag is not the one you think? The biggest red flag is y'all been together 3.5 years. How long did y'all date before that?
So about 2.5.
Okay,
but I've known him for about 12.
6 years. Y'all have been lovers 12 years. So he tells you this. Something in you didn't immediately start causing a ruckus. Why did you stay quiet when he said that? That is the worst possible financial decision he could make unless he doesn't trust you. He's planning on leaving you and doesn't want to have to deal with a lawyer later. He's just going to leave his life insurance money for 18 years if he dies tomorrow, and then you just got to raise this kid with no money. Like, that makes no sense. But before that, why didn't you say anything?
I think that's kind of just been the whole summary of our relationship. Again, I kind of thought he was joking. He had mentioned before we got married, his stingy brother was going to be in charge. And then we got married and had a child, but this is not our only child. I have a daughter from a previous relationship that he adopted after we got married.
Okay.
Who is 8.5.
Does he not want that kid to have the money?
I think it's the first part of your sentence. He doesn't want that kid.
But he adopted that kid, so that ship sailed.
I know. There's other issues.
I'm telling you. Yeah. For sure, there's other issues. Hey, I don't mean to be, man.
No, please be, because we've seen a marriage counselor.
Your marriage is in big trouble, is what I'll tell you. Big trouble.
100% agree with you.
Okay. Big trouble. And he's either having conversations about you and his situation with other people, and that's where he got this advice. He is creating hell in his home by adopting another child, marrying somebody who had another kid, but trying to cut that kid out of his life, and which is just going to wreak havoc on your family, on your biological kid, on this adopted kid, on your marriage. I mean, what a mess. And then there's a hard thing to have a conversation about. And this doesn't even sound like a hard conversation to me, but there being a hard conversation, you can't have it. What's at the root of this thing?
I guess everything in our life and our relationship has been 100 miles per hour since we began our relationship. He was in one before for about 7 years. I was previously married, and we haven't slowed down, pumped the brakes the entire time.
How'd y'all get together?
So we met in college about 12 years ago, 11 and a half, 12 years ago. He was in a previous relationship. I was in a relationship. I ended up getting married, ended up having a child, ended up getting separated due to infidelity and divorce.
On your part? On your part or
on
his
my
part?
On his part,
Okay.
yes. And so when my husband and I, we kind of rekindled through social media, lived in the same town, basically growing up. And then I was an adult then, but I was always taught that, like, with divorce, my parents have been married for about 35 years now, but if it's not broke, you fix it, you don't throw it away. But after 3 different times of infidelity from my first husband, I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And so we got divorced. And again, I rekindled with my now husband.
Is he cheating on you now?
Social media. My husband?
Yeah.
I really hope not.
You know the answer to that question. It's a yes or no.
No.
No? Okay. Here's the deal. So to answer your original question, yes. The only thing that makes any rational sense whatsoever is that you are the sole beneficiary, and then your 2 kids are your mutual beneficiaries. And if you have a life insurance policy, which you should, even if it's a small one, he should be your sole beneficiary. And there shouldn't be any discussion about taking care of these children. And I think my wife and I set up a trust, so it goes into the trust. So if we buy things, whatever, it all goes into there, and it gets distributed a certain amount. But even the folks that we have, that if my wife and I were to die, our kids would go to a couple, they have full access to that money. And here's why. I wouldn't have picked them if I didn't trust them to take my children. And a lot of people will put more emphasis on what's the deal with the money than they do with who gets their children. But I trust them. And so they may need to build another house. They may need to move. They may need to get another car. They may need to whatever. And I trust them. Now, I'm going to have money for my kids' college and all that. But this signals a mess. This signals somebody who's either about to get out of a relationship. This signals somebody who doesn't like the current relationship that they're in and is trying to pick and choose parts of it. But it's a bigger signal that y'all are not on the same page. And you got to get on the same page. You said y'all been running and gunning and running for 7 years. Y'all just going to run off the edge of a cliff if you're not careful. How do you get that back? How do you stop and just say, whoa, we need to talk?
We've seen a marriage coach for a little over almost a year now.
And in a year, y'all have not received any coaching on how to on the skills on how to stop in the middle of a hard conversation and be vulnerable with one another? That means your marriage therapist is terrible. If y'all been seeing them for a year and you don't have any tools or the courage or the strength or any of the insights into having a hard conversation, terrible. Do you think?
No, it is. I thought he was joking. But then I'm rethinking it over and over again. And I'm like, well, if something does happen to him, I'm going to have to move. Not only am I going to be grieving my dead husband, but I'm going to have to move our 2 children because we would have to sell the home if I'm not on this policy. And I did bring it back up to him, and he was like, well, there's ways to get around her being the only person on there.
No,
and I'm like,
yeah, there's one. You write it down. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so y'all need to have this conversation ASAP. And if you need to go back and see a marriage coach, there's something you're here. Are you safe? Are you in an abusive relationship?
Mentally, more than definitely not physically, but mentally, he's definitely said some things that have shot daggers to the heart, and he doesn't understand he thinks that it's all okay, that he can just apologize and it'd be fine the next day, but then these things keep being brought back up. And
give me an example of one.
I didn't marry you because I loved you. I married you so that we could adopt child's name. And I didn't hear this until the adoption was final in July of 2018, and I didn't hear this until about a year ago.
Mm-hmm. So does your husband?
He was the one who brought up the divorce. I've never brought that up until about the 10th time when I was like, you know what? I can't take this. Like, how many times are you going to say it before it actually becomes real?
You mean that he wants to get a divorce?
Correct.
Yeah. That going back to the very first thing, without knowing that, his actions told me that he's got a foot out of this deal. That just doesn't make any sense at all. At all. And by the way, you want to ruin your child's life? Give all of your money to one sibling and not the other. Killer. Great idea. Unbelievable. Yeah, so y'all, this is a lot, Liz. And so here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to rattle off 3 things off the top of my head, okay? Have you seen somebody on your own?
Yes.
How's that going?
It was our same counselor, and it was due to he kind of gave me an ultimatum if I didn't see somebody by myself by that date.
Are you stable? Are you okay?
Am I okay?
Uh-huh.
Like what? In what?
Why would he give you that ultimatum?
Because he's not a nice person.
Why do you think so little of yourself, Liz? Who told you this is what your life was worth?
He did.
No, before him. Somebody told you before him.
Probably my ex who cheated on me multiple times.
Okay. I want you to go see a different somebody. Somebody who's going to pour into you and walk alongside you. Not just stew and stuff as you kind of work, as you work towards healing. You got 2 little ones that are watching everything. And you look at yourself in the mirror a few times every day. And you're just simply worth more than this. I see it. Every listener on this call is going to hear it. Everybody watching this is going to see it. And you don't see it. And you're worth more than this. And so the first thing, I want you to just go work on your healing. You got to go talk to somebody and say, I need to heal. And I've been emotionally beat up by a couple of men. And I deserve more than this. I don't even know where to start. The second thing is you need to write this stuff down for you, get it out of your head and get it on a piece of paper. These things that make you feel not safe. And if my husband's got secret money accounts, if he is giving life insurance money to our baby and not to me, there are some major trust issues. I wouldn't feel safe in that situation. And I know there's other stuff going on here. There's the things he says to you. Like, I don't even love you. I don't even know why we're married except for this kid. Whatever it happens to be. I want you to write this stuff down. And third, you got to have a hard conversation. Not in the fight, but you don't set it up that way. But you got to go somewhere and be on top of it. And be direct and say, your comment about or your decision to put all the money in the hands of an 18-month-old or a 2-year-old broke me. It's about enough. And you tell me you didn't marry because you love me. You tell me you're going to divorce me. Yet you're willing to leave me destitute if you pass away, leave me and our other child destitute, or all three of us until you got to say all that stuff out loud. And then you'll have to decide if this marriage is worth going forward or not. Because right now it's not. Right now it's a mess. And I want y'all to stay married, but you're going to have to lean into this. And I want you to walk with a professional because something tells me you're not telling me the full story and something tells me that you're really struggling right now. Okay? We're with you, Liz. Go see somebody. Make that call today. This is the morning, so you got all day to make that call. And not the one you've been seeing. Make a new call today.